Hello, Tony here, and you join me on this glorious spring day out on the bike to bring you some news. It's an opportunity that came along which should bring some pretty exciting new content to the channel for me, and it's a bit of a development in what I've been doing on the channel for quite some time. So for 2023 I will be effectively a UK ambassador for Sw-motech. Now part of that role is to test and review their pretty much entire range of products, and alongside that there's some other activity as well. So I will be going to various shows. I'll be at the ABR festival, myself and the bike. We'll also be going to Sw-motech's own open house weekend in Rauschenberg, Germany. So there's a lot of activity coming through, and it's probably going to lead to some other new content on the channel as well. Now, to showcase these parts, it made sense to start effectively with a blank canvas in terms of a bike, and those of you with a keen ear will probably have already worked out what the bike is just from the sound. But in case you haven't worked that out, this is what I'm going to be riding for 2023. Africa Twin Adventure Sports ES DCT. Now Sw-motech have got an affinity with the Africa Twin because it's a bike really that kind of kick-started their company back in the 90s when the founders essentially were making additional fuel tanks to go on the back of the original 650 and 750 machines. I've been using Sw-motech pieces for years. You look at reviews on my channel going back 5-6 years, and I've been looking at the Legend gear. I did a trip over to Europe last year, went and visited their factory and had a look around. I really like their gear. They're really lovely people to work with, and so I had no problems in agreeing to do this with them. I've got no issues with putting my name against those products. I'll still be objective when I look at those. It's not like I'm all of a sudden going to become, I was going to say, a massive Sw-motech fanboy. I already am a fan of their stuff. But the idea is to show you these pieces in practical use, and for those guys to have a bike to go to shows and events that's not just a brand new one with all the showroom bits on it. They'll have some battle scars, and I'll be around to talk through my experience of, you know, these different bits and pieces on the bike, and be honest about what I think about them. And that's one part of the relationship that I really like. It also means that there's a bit of a development and a bit of a, not change as such, but the content of the channel will be added to. So there's going to be more motovlog style stuff like this. There'll be more travel, but don't worry, the bike reviews will continue, as will the gear reviews. But the gear reviews I've decided to be a little bit more curated, where I've spread my net quite wide in terms of the gear that I look at. Now I'm going to be a little bit more selective in that stuff. It's just the nature of the beast. The gear reviews take as much time, if not longer, to do than the bike reviews and the motovlog stuff. And some items work really well, and some items you just don't get the views and the traction. Now for me, it's not all about views on this channel, but you know, you've got to make that a big part of what you're doing. I'm just trying not to spear this cyclist. There we go. So yeah, there'll be more motovlog, more travel, bike reviews. I'm still got the Royal Enfield project to finish, and there will still be gear reviews. I'm just going to pick and choose those a little bit more. So it should be a very exciting 2023, for me at least. So as I mentioned, this is a 2023 Africa Twin Adventure Sports ES DCT, and it has been fitted with a couple of OEM optional extras, and we'll look at those as we go through other videos. But it's got things like the tank pads added to it. I've got some really nice brushed aluminium rad guards on it. But the most interesting thing is down on my left hand side. Obviously a DCT, no clutch, no foot control. This one has been fitted with the optional DCT foot shifter. I've been looking forward to trying this for a while. I don't want to come across as being evangelical about the DCT system. I really like it. I understand a lot of people won't like it. That's fine. I'm not here to try to convert anybody. What I try to do is dispel some myths. Now, one of the things that people say is like, well, I don't want the bike deciding when to change gear for me, and I get that. And this is a big improvement over the previous models, because obviously now that DCT is tied into the 6-axis IMU, so if it detects that the bike is leaning, braking hard, accelerating hard, that all affects the way that it shifts. So you don't get the issue where the bike will sort of change gear mid-bend, because if you're leant over, the computer knows that you're leant over. It's not going to change your gear during that point, so it'll just hold on to the gear that you've got. It's a very clever system. There's obviously also a manual control to it, so in the moment I'm riding in Sports 2 mode. With a click of this button, AM, I'm now in manual, and ordinarily you'd use the plus and minus controls on the hand like a paddle shift, so down a gear, up a gear, but it takes a little while for you to get your head around using that. Once you've been riding it for a while, I've got used to clicking up and down, but obviously with this foot shifter now I can just change gear as I would do normally. I just obviously don't need to use the clutch, so it effectively becomes like a quick shifter when you're on the move. So kick down to third and up to fourth. Now, because this is effectively flicking a switch as opposed to mechanically pushing anything in the gearbox, it's super light. You get a little tiny click on your foot, but you haven't got a big clunk. The gear change itself is absolutely seamless. You don't feel it. It's really, really good. And obviously you also get the auto blipper as well, so if you go down it will do the auto blip. Most of the time I'm happy riding around in Sport 2 mode on the auto box, or the DCT box. I should stop calling it auto, because if I do that, a little man in from Honda in a white coat jumps up and slaps you around the face. I almost forgot I was in manual then. But look at that. It's just absolutely seamless, that changing. And actually when you're riding a little bit more enthusiastically, you instantaneously feel more comfortable switching gears with your foot than you do with the hand. But you can still do the hand. You've got either or, so if I want to change down with the hand and change up with the foot, I can do that. I think I'll double check the price, I think it's about a £300 or £400 option, but it might be the sort of thing that for those DCT naysayers, it kind of knocks off one of their arguments against it. But as I say, I'm not being evangelical about it. I like it. I understand a lot of other people won't like it. Horses. No worries. So I thought I'd just stop somewhere scenic and let you have a look around the bike. I still think it's the best looking adventure bike on the market. Such a pretty thing, especially in this colourway. But you can see there's the nice optional rad guards on there. You've got the tank guards. Outside of that, it's a completely standard machine, apart from all my camera gubbins that are strapped to it. Cornering lights, and there's that funky little shifter. Yeah, it's a pretty thing for sure, and I'm going to have lots of fun on this, I think. There you go. So over the coming year you'll see a series of videos, both on the channel here, but probably predominantly more on the Sw-motech social channels, where we look at various aspects of their product lineup. So that could be luggage, protection, ergonomic changes. We're going to cover the whole spectrum, so I'm sure there'll be something of interest in there with you. And the reason this bike was chosen A, it's a great bike, but B, they just have a massive range of products. So this was one of the bikes, this and the GS were the two bikes where they have the biggest range of products to choose from, and they were happy to go with the Africa Twin, and I'm happy with that decision too. Now obviously, as I mentioned, there's a bit of change in the content, so there will be more travel and motovlog style content. That's kind of the direction I want to increase on the channel. But that also means that YouTube now effectively becomes almost a full-time gig. I have got a couple of other commitments, freelance commitments that I have, which take 1 or 2 days a week of my time. But outside of that, effectively now it's full-time YouTube, and I'm hoping that that's going to help me put out lots more content. It's a difficult decision to make, more from a financial point of view than anything else, but you know, things change in your life, and sometimes you just have to roll with it. You just have to grab those opportunities and go with them. It is quite a daunting decision to make. Thankfully, I've had a chat with some people that do the same thing, and I've had some really good advice and some really good ideas and lots of support. So I'm not going to name names, but those people know who they are, so thank you for being honest and open with me, and it's kind of helped me push over into that new world, which is all very exciting, but scary as shit as well. Obviously YouTube is a very crowded place, particularly in the motorcycle sector. There's a lot of people vying for your attention. I've been doing it for a long time now. My first kind of bike related YouTube videos went out maybe late 2015 into 2016, so I've been going a long time. It's taken me a long time to reach the level where I'm at now, which is just under 50,000 subscribers. The aim, obviously, long term would be great to get to 100,000 subscribers and get your silver plaque. But given it's taken me whatever it is, 7 years to get not yet to 50,000, I could be waiting a very long time for that, but we'll see. In that time though, I'd seem to have built up a pretty decent reputation for being objective and honest with my reviews. That doesn't change. Obviously things change a bit commercially. You know, I've got sponsors on the channel now, but I've carefully selected those sponsors from offers that have come in for people that I want to work with, and I've stuck with brands where I like the brand ethos or the product, or where it's not really going to have too much of an impact or any impact in what I'm doing in terms of reviews and other content. One problem with doing reviews is you'll always get the people go, well, you were given stuff for free, or you're being paid to do that, or whatever it is. Actually, paid gigs in terms of reviews are very few and far between, and I've always been a little bit reticent to accept those, because not that there's an understanding that you'll say wonderful things about it. I think that's pretty transparent. People can see through people that are just influencers, for want of a better word, and are trying to chase clout, or are just not actually, don't understand the product. I recently put a Cardo comparison out, and of the two units, and I've had those nearly a year, and I've been saying to Cardo, the review will come, but I want to test them long term. I'm not just going to take them out of the box, run around for 10 minutes and then tell you about them, because that doesn't really give you a user experience of that actual product. So that is going to continue. But yeah, it's definitely a busy space, but there's room for people. Everybody's doing something slightly different. Most of the people that put YouTube content out, I've found to be, let me just concentrate on these guys and looking at me. Little trip through Finchinfield for you. The motorcycle YouTube family is pretty friendly. Everybody's very cooperative. Is that the word I'm looking for? I don't know. Everybody wants to see everybody succeed. Obviously, since it's a lot of lockdown, we've had a lot of new people coming in, and really you live and die by the quality of your content. So I hear a lot of people going, well, you know, if you're a girl at the moment, it's really easy to get the views, and to a certain extent, yeah, there's some truth in that. There's the thirst traps, there's guys that will want to watch a pretty girl riding a bike, but if the content's not up to scratch, it's not going to last for a long time. But there is a lot of really good content out there. Yep, 2023 Sw-motech content, really pleased to have that relationship with them. Thanks to those guys for working out a plan. You'll see more content on that. There'll be a lot of Africa Twin content on the channel. On the back of that, does mean that I am going to be, or I am putting my KTM790 Adventure up for sale. It's a similar bike in respect to this, in terms of an adventure bike. And I know that for a lot of the year it's not going to get the use that it should have, and I don't really want to leave the bike just sitting in the garage and not getting use. So it's going up for sale. If anybody's interested in it, or they know anybody that might be interested in it, drop me a line on Instagram or Facebook or an email, and I'm happy to have a chat to anybody about price and specs. The one thing that might put people off is it's relatively high mileage. It's done 24,700 miles. It's a 2019 bike, but it has been serviced by the same KTM dealer all through that. It's recently had the big 18,000 mile valve check service, the expensive one, so that's taken care of. You don't have to worry about that for another 18,000 miles. It's got a fresh MOT going on it, so you have a year's MOT. And obviously the bike will be priced according to that mileage, but there's so many accessories and options on there that it can be offered in all kinds of spec. So I can revert it purely back to stock, with the exception that it's got the tech pack on it. So you've got the rally mode, the cruise control, which was retrofitted to the bike. It's the KTM one, but the hand control was actually changed, so we could go with that. It's got a quick shifter and heated grips, and there's also an ergo heated seat, which I'll leave on. I can't be bothered to kind of take that off and undo all the wiring and take the switch out and leave a hole in the plastic and all that sort of stuff, so I'll leave that on there. But it can either come in that form, or we can talk about, you know, what kind of extras you want it, whether you want to keep the Akrapovic on it, whether you want the extra bodywork on there. I've got 3 or 4 different screens. I've got the R screen, the stock screen, 2 MRA screens, I've got bash guards, I've got luggage racks, I've got all sorts of things. So yeah, if you're interested in it, get in touch. But looking forward to bringing you more content coming through the year. Excited for what the year is going to bring. Hopefully my core of viewers will continue to watch me, and as well as that, I can bring in some new subscribers and some new viewers as well. If you've got any ideas of things that you'd like to see, then let me know in the comments section. And all that leaves me to say is, I guess, as usual, until next time, thanks for watching, take care, ride safe, and I'll see you soon. Bye.